When last have you heard a budget presentation? And when I say budget presentation, I'm talking about a budget presentation in Jamaica, in the Jamaican Parliament, that ignites hope and a sense of prosperity and belonging to Jamaica. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to ask the question again. When last have you heard a budget presentation in the Jamaican Parliament that ignites hope and a sense of belonging and a future that you can say, listen, this is for the benefit of my children, my great grandchildren, and all Jamaicans? Answer the question. Think about it. On Tuesday, the 11th of March 2025, I listened to the budget presentation of Honorable Favor Williams. And then I listened to the response by Mr. Julian Robinson on the same matter, on the PMP's version of finance and public service. And I want to analyze it today because I think it warrants some merit. One of the things that Mr. Julian Robinson mentioned is that there is some clear indication in Jamaica that there are macroeconomic stability measures in Jamaica at the moment, which would have been done by the Jamaica Labour Party government. And he's arguing that, and rightfully so, that it didn't start yesterday or when the GLP began their current stint in terms of representing the Jamaican people as the helm of the government. It didn't start with them, but it really started with some policies and programs instituted by the People's National Party. And that one can actually argue is truth and truthful in its entirety. No, but having listened to Mr. Robinson's presentation, I want to speak to you about a matter that I am realizing, that it's clear to me that those persons who are in the House in Parliament and are the ones speaking on issues relating to Jamaica's current and future, do not really understand what is really going on the ground. And possibly they need to do more research, in-depth analysis. They are, but they need to do more research and in-depth analysis to understanding what are the issues and how those issues can be addressed. Now, he pointed out some stuff that I'm thinking that, Mr. Robinson and your handlers, you have missed the mark totally in terms of education. And why I'm able to speak on this matter related to education is because I am an educator. And I started working at a primary school teaching grade 5. Then went to a prep school teaching grade 5, 4, and 6. Followed that with high school teaching and currently at university level. So I have experienced teaching from the primary to the university level, and currently am an educator. And therefore, I'm able to speak on some of the challenges and difficulties that are occurring in the education system. And I can point out to you one fundamental thing that is happening in the education system that is no secret, which is the poor performance of Jamaican students at the CSEC and CAPE level. And I could go further by saying the poor performance of Caribbean students at the CSEC and CAPE level. The World Bank even pointed out that most Caribbean students who sit the CSEC examination fail. And that is a travesty. It means that we are not getting the best from the buck that you are spending. And that is without a doubt the case. When you look at the CXC results for Jamaica in the last decade, that is the last 10 years, there's no doubt that our students are underperforming in mathematics. There's no doubt about that, which means that they're not getting the critical skills to think. And our students are not given the critical skills to think, then clearly, looking in the future, it means that we're going to be having a society of persons who are not thinkers if we don't develop this skill quickly in those persons who have graduated and about to graduate, and those persons who are general in the society. It means that many of the persons in our society in Jamaica are not critical thinkers, but thinkers. Which takes me to my point. Mr. Julian Robinson mentioned some issues relating to education. He said that we need to do some moratorium for 6 months for those persons who are borrowers of student loan, and that I understand. But when we look at the education system in Jamaica, how many persons actually reach the university level in Jamaica? Less than 25%. How many persons are going to be given student loan and accept student loan? I'm not sure what that figure is, but let's say the exact 25% of persons who are doing that. It means that Mr. Julian Robinson, your handlers, your policy is only affecting few Jamaicans, and therefore that policy needs to be looked at again, because that's not the issue, Mr. Robinson. The PNP handlers and the rest of persons who are PNP sympathizers and empathizers and supporters. Another thing you actually spoke about is the renegotiation of payment. Again, that is only applying to a few people. When you say reform the student loan bureau, again, that's only applying to few people. When you actually speak about the EASE program, the EASE program, that is actually going to be looking at giving a nutritious meal to all those persons who are unable to afford it, I'm saying that's a great idea. That is a great idea. And you also spoke about the matter relating to transport, because there's a difficulty. Even if you're to give a nutritious meal to persons who are going to school who need it, then they need to be getting to where they need to get that education, which is the schools. And you mentioned that we need to address the matter relating to JUCT or transportation. Again, that is a great idea. But no program was actually put forward in terms of that. But as a matter relating to education, Mr. Robinson and your handlers, I'm saying the education system goes back to what the World Bank said. Most of our students are failing. And if most of our students are failing, what is the policy of the People's National Party? Because clearly there is none by the Jamaica Labour Party, because they have been in power for a while and they have not addressed its education system. They have not addressed the deficiencies in the education system. And our current Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, was at one point the Minister of Education. And while he was there, he didn't address the matter. Currently, he is Prime Minister, and many persons have been ministers of education, and the matter is still addressed. A matter of fact, I want to go on record to say that our education system is in such a poor, deplorable state that we should actually abandon this present education system. It is not working. It is ineffective. It cannot get us to where we want to go. It has not gone to where we want to go, where we want to go as a people. For me to understand clearly what education is all about. Education ought to be transforming lives and transforming things and addressing problems. Let's look at some problems that we're currently having in Jamaica. Economic problem. And we have a plethora of economists in Jamaica. That problem has not been addressed. Possibly they have made recommendations and solutions what is actually going on that has not been implemented by the government, whether the current government or previous governments. The education system in Jamaica, it is in a state of disrepair. All we are doing is throwing money at a system that is broken, that cannot address the problems of the people, is ineffective, highly inefficient, low in terms of productivity and production, and it's something that we need to reconsider of abandoning with immediacy. Those are some of the things that you need to be addressing, Mr. Robinson and the PNP. Now, you spoke about the transport system. You didn't really give a policy, but you actually spoke to say that you will be addressing that, and possibly the government, if you form government, that is, Mr. Robinson. And you spoke about the public sector issue. You didn't actually put forward a plan as to how that ought to be addressed. Now, it's clear from having listened to you comprehensively, and I actually made my notes, Mr. Robinson, the matter relating to even putting up the income tax threshold, Mr. Robinson, again, not many Jamaicans are working, and therefore the only benefits a portion of the Jamaican thing. You actually mentioned about the four strategies of building a stronger economy in terms of energy efficiency, emerging economies, and education. You did not just the education matter, and I'm still awaiting that. Possibly when you get in power, you will do that, which means that we're going to be voting for a thought. So we're going to be replacing the current Jamaica's Labour Party policies and programs with a thought. Well, possibly Jamaicans will do that, but I'm not sure, Mr. Robinson, and by extension the PNP, that that is where you ought to be going. Right now, we need to be seeing a concrete plan of action. That's where we can go and where we will go, and programs that are going to benefit the Jamaica people if the people of Jamaica are to decide to vote for the People's National Party and replace the JLP with the People's National Party. There has to be some plan and program. It cannot be simply rhetoric or promises or thoughts or perspectives that are hidden on some paper in your head and by extension, your members inside the People's National Party. I'm not sure those members will actually get you into Parliament and be the rulers and the governors of the Jamaican economy. I'm not sure if those people alone that know what your policies and programs are going to be the ones only voting for you. I'm thinking that the voters list is about 1 million, but not 1 million. And the voters list is about 1 million. It means that you need to get this idea to the people of Jamaica and not only to your party members. Now, when I looked at the issue relating to the financial issues that you actually brought up, you brought up the issue relating to taxes on the banking system and phasing out the tax, the asset tax. And I understand that. And I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good thing that you're thinking about. But you said over 5 years, which means that it could be at the end of the 5 years, could be, that is something we need to address. You also looked at this relating to banking fees and it's relating to having a competitive banking system and sector to address a number of the challenges and problems relating to cost borne by the people of Jamaica. Again, that is a good idea. And if implemented, could see substantial reduction in fees and therefore leaving persons with more money in their pockets, more money in their hand. So that is good in terms of an idea and something that can be implemented on you entering if you were to win the government. Now, I haven't listened comprehensively, as I said, because I told you I made notes of what is going on in Jamaica. And I'm saying, it appears to me from the budget presentation made by the opposition spokesperson, Mr. Julian Robinson, on finance and the public service, that the PNP doesn't understand the real challenges in Jamaica. I want to go on record to say the PNP does not understand the issues that are unfolding in the Jamaican economy. And I'm saying you guys need to go and do some research. Go and do some research. Go and do research that will provide you with a comprehensive understanding of the issues, challenges, and tribulations, as well as dilemma in Jamaica at the moment. Because clearly from listening to your budget presentation, if I'm to go by what is embodied in your ideas, that you don't understand what is going on, Mr. Robinson, and by extension, the People's National Party. And for that, I'm saying, we and come again. If the people of Jamaica is going to be thinking of replacing the current Jamaica Labour Party with the People's National Party, there has to be some plans and programs that can warrant people voting for the People's National Party. It's clear to me from having listened to your presentation and that of the Minister of Finance, there's a marginal difference in terms of ideology between the PNP and the JLP. Where is the old PNP's philosophy about people? Or have you abandoned that philosophy? Because if that's the philosophy that I'm saying to you, that your plans and programs, Mr. Robinson, and by the extension, the People's National Party members, we need to see a budget to reflect that. Currently, the people of Jamaica are hurting, suffering. Our education system is in disarray. The transport sector is in disarray. The public sector is in disarray. The technology sector is in turmoil. The efficiency sector, the electricity sector, the entire thing in Jamaica is in disarray and need for repair. What we are seeing is a number of policies and programs instituted by the GLP that are bearing fruits and getting some of economic stability, which is also important to actually do a number of the things that we want to do. But where there's idea, the people thrive. But clearly now, based on what I'm seeing, is that there's a lethargic approach to ideas building and ideas germination and ideas that will get Jamaica to any state of being first world or even second world. There's idea deficiency, and we need to address that. And I would have hoped that the People's National Party would have come to the Jamaican people with ideas and programs to get us out of where we are and to put us on a stage of great and even greatness. What is happening now is a Jamaica Labour Party which seems to be over its heels, over its head, with the challenges of the Jamaican economy, and a People's National Party who does not seem to understand the issues. So if we were to switch pot for kettle, we will not be getting anything much from switching the pot for the kettle or the kettle for the pot. The Jamaican people need more than that. If the JLP is to retain its position, then the people of Jamaica need to see what you're going to be building on what you currently have established. And the People's National Party is going to wrestle or gain power of the Jamaican society in terms of administration of it. Then what we ought to see are programs and ideas that are due to the issues of the people and not flukes that cannot get us anywhere. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide with trusted information for you to use to make decisions. What are your views? Let me hear them. Let's have a discussion. Because where we are in Jamaica, there's need for robust and truthful discussion, because that is where we need to get us to a better place.